Hello, everyone, and welcome to Skip Rewind, Episode 4. If you're unfamiliar with this show format, basically, the rundown is I go through the videos that you may have missed in the past week, and then I go on to talk about some SCP-themed news that has also happened in the past week. It's always pretty interesting. The SCP community is quite prolific when it comes to making things. So without further ado, let's go over the videos that you may have missed this week. Okay, so because of the limitations, I can only put 5 cards per video. You know those wee things in the top left hand corner that you can click on? I can only do 5 of those. So before I do that, I want to talk about SCP Secret Laboratory. The links for these 2 videos will be in the description. If you don't know, SCP Secret Laboratory is like a multiplayer version of Containment Breach. I didn't know this before I made the videos, but it's based off Gmod Breach, I think it's called. But SCP Secret Laboratory is based on the Unity engine, and it is supposed to be a fully fledged game. At the minute, it's only in beta, as I said, but I think it has amazing potential to be a really good multiplayer SCP game. I think it's one of the best I've seen out there because I did try and play the Gmod version, and it felt really clunky to me because after all, it's a mod that people are working on for free. So it's still really good, but I think because Secret Laboratory is built in the Unity engine, it has a lot more potential to become a more popular game, I think. So yeah, that's those videos out of the way. If you would like to watch those gameplay videos and you haven't watched them, go ahead and watch them. If I was to make a recommendation, probably the second one is probably more worth your time because it's more representative of what the actual game is like. So there you go. The second video, which is the first card that should be in the top right hand corner right about now, is the confinement speed painting that I did of the character Connor from Confinement. This was about a week after In the Pines dropped. Just an amazing SCP music video, created and animated by the granddaddy himself, Lord Bung. Such a talented guy, really funny as well. But he created a character Connor for Confinement, as I'm sure you're all aware. And I just did a little speed painting of Connor. It didn't really turn out 100% how I wanted it to, because I was trying to do it as quick as possible. But even if you want to just skip to the end and see what the actual finished result was, you can do that too. So moving on, the next video is The Night Before Redacted. This is a SCP-049 Reads. This got posted on Christmas Eve, and not a lot of people saw it, which is kind of confusing because I thought a lot of people liked SCP-049 content. So if you missed that and you like SCP-049, give it a listen and a watch as well because it's kind of animated at the same time. And then, after Christmas, I got back into doing SCP document reads. And the first one of these document reads is SCP-9, Red Ice. This was featured in the music video again, In the Pines. I'm going to try and make my way through all of them, but this was the first of them. Very creepy, I thought. Even the artwork that Lord Bung created of one of the victims of SCP-9 was really weird. And the next video was SCP-1000, Bigfoot. A lot of people think this SCP is a joke, and that's kind of the point. I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't heard of it or you haven't read it. Give it a listen because it's pretty good. It's one of the better SCPs in my opinion, anyway. And then lastly, we have SCP-217, the Clockwork virus. This video I tried to do something a little bit different because I actually created artwork for the SCP because it had none. It was kind of like a Photoshop amalgamation of loads of different things, but I thought it turned out really well. And to boot, it's quite an interesting document to read or listen to, depending on your preference. So check that out if you haven't already. That takes care of my videos for this week, so let's go on to the SCP news of this week. So, the first piece of news I think will be useful for people who like to do SCP cosplaying, and that is, there's a company on Etsy called SCP Patches, and they are creating some really, really high quality SCP patches. So if you're making like a nine-tailed fox costume or an SCP guard costume, some of these patches will be right up your street. As you can see by the image, they have a really big selection. Specifically, there's some versions of the SCP logo that I think look really nice. So anyway, the links will be in the description if you want to check their shop out, or just check the image out to see what it's like. The second bit of news is there's an SCP-450 game in the works. there's a screenshot here of what the game might look like. Noom, which I think that's his name, Noomcrad, NMKD is his username on Reddit. He said in the comment thread below that this screenshot was just him playing with assets and effects. So he said he does plan to make it, but he's focusing all his efforts on the 3008 game, which I think is a good idea because having multiple projects at the same time, it just makes everything slower. So at least whenever that game's done, he can move straight on to something else that is equally as interesting. So thumbs up for me. Can't wait. And then the next piece of news, in a related note, is news on the next update of 3008, the co-operational update. This is obviously going to be a multiplayer update, but anything that involves SCP games and multiplayer is always good in my opinion. So yeah, it's a pretty cool little animation. I think they're employing a motion graphics guy to do this because they look really impressive. As far as an ETA, Noomcrad has said it's going to be available probably the first quarter of 2018, so we've got a while to wait. So just to make everybody aware, you have something to look forward to in the near future. It's not going to be next week, but sometime in the next few months, we're going to have a multiplayer version of SCP-3008. So that's really cool. The next piece of news is kind of weird. I don't want to... I'm not saying that the SCP Foundation is real. I think if you say that in the comment section, you're either trolling or you're really, really young and don't know any better. So I'm gonna preface this with the SCP Foundation is not real. Okay, moving on. But this was posted on the Reddit this week. It's like a truck with SCP Foundation off-site response written on the side of it. Pretty much 100% it's somebody who's just a big fan of the SCP Foundation and just wants to show his fandom on the side of his car. But yeah, it's always cool to get actual pictures of the SCP Foundation leaking into reality. Something Shermal, like it says Site 42 on the side. Is this your car, Sherm? Anyway, I just thought that was kind of cool. So that's the news finished. I hope this illuminated something that you didn't know. I hope to see you all again next week. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.